My name is Aaron Bracy, and I'm happy to be joined today by Mike Dynda from Dynda Golf. Mike is a Golf Digest Top 100 teacher. Very lucky to have him today. He teaches out of Lulu Golf Club. You probably already follow him on Twitter and Facebook because he's a great follow, but if you don't, Dynda Golf, DYNDAGOLF. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Brace. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. Very happy to have you here. I guess I got on my Tiger Sunday Red. The only Masters I was able to watch yesterday was the replay, which actually was pretty cool because they had Tiger kind of talking about stuff that he went through last year and during the final round, which was kind of neat, kind of to see his insight. But I'm just wondering, your thoughts on having no Masters this year, first of all. The Masters is spring. What was it like for you as a golf professional not to have the Masters?
Well, I'm actually glad that they rescheduled it for November because now I can go down and watch it if they play, because I've only been down to Augusta once, and it's tough for a teaching pro to bail for a week on your clients in the heart of the busy season. So I don't mind that they're going to reschedule for November.
So for you, it actually works out. What was it like for those of us who've never been to Augusta? Obviously, we see it on TV, but from what I understand, being there in person is a lot different. What could you tell us and people watching about being actually at Augusta National?
Well, you'll appreciate this. The year was 2011, and I went down with Coach Wiltz from Villanova. Back then, I coached Drexel, and we played the Villanova Invitational at White Manor, and we drove all night Monday down to Augusta. And the things that you hear from your friends, like the pictures don't do it justice, the TV doesn't do it justice, they're right on. It's amazing the amount of undulation and the perfection of all the grass, and it's just, so whatever you hear from your friends, take that and times it by 10.
So Tiger was supposed to defend this year. He hasn't played golf competitively since February 16th, but he said he was ready to go had the Masters started on time.
I heard that.
Now, had it started on time, do you think he could have been a factor again this year? And if so, why?
Yes. And Tiger could probably win that thing in his sleep just based on his, the positive memories that he has from that place,
So he's won there 5 times and he has 15 majors. What do you think do you think the November date, I guess what I was getting at, do you think the November date helps him health-wise, having more time to recover from the back injury? Or do you think, he's going to be fine? He would have been fine either way.
I think he's going to be fine either way. I think he's the one rare athlete that has the ability to get ready for game time at a moment's notice, unless his back's jacked up.
He's won 82 wins in his PGA Tour career and 15 majors. Which of those accomplishments do you think is kind of more amazing?
One's 1A, very minimally. They're both awesome, But if you threw in his 3 junior AMs, 3 US AMs, they're majors. That's 6. So that puts him at 21. How many US AMs? Huh?
Those junior AMs, think about that. He won 3 straight junior AMs, 3 straight US AMs, and he won it. When you're 15 years old, you're playing, that 3 years difference is a big deal playing older kids. And then, to win 3 junior AMs, that may be the most amazing of all his records, winning 3 straight junior AMs and 3 straight AMs. Just unbelievable.
Imagine wrestling up 3 weight classes when you were that age. You'd have gotten pounded on the mat, but you weren't a wrestler.
I was, but it wasn't a very good one.
Nor was I.
My senior season, I took a hard fall on my shoulder, and it was going to knock me out for my golf season. I said, that's enough wrestling for me.
Wait, you wrestled until your senior year?
I wrestled my freshman year and actually I wrestled what am I saying? I wrestled my freshman year. I'm sorry, not my senior year. I wrestled my freshman year, fell on my shoulder, and realized that's enough for me and wanted to stick with golf from that point. I don't know if
I was fortunate enough to quit wrestling and switch to basketball when boys hit puberty.
Mike Dynda, PGA golf professional at Lulu Golf Club, joining Bracy Sports Media. Mike, the PGA Tour schedule right now has them coming back on May 21st, but they've had to kind of change around the major championships. The British Open is going to be canceled for the first time since 1945. And
Right.
the U.S. Open has been moved to September, back-to-back weeks with the Ryder Cup. And then, as you mentioned, the Masters in November. PGA going back to its normal spot in August. I mean, in some ways, if this can kind of work out, that may be really exciting for golf fans. How do you think that new schedule could impact fans and also the players?
Well, two thoughts come to mind, Brace. First, that's a very hopeful date, and I hope it does occur. The sooner we get out of this panic, or whatever you want to call it, the better. We got to get the economy rolling. But I think that's wishful thinking on that first date. That's one thought. Two, it's going to be a very condensed season. If these players thought last year was a condensed season, then holy cow, is this year going to be a condensed season? I like it.
Do you think that players will they play better in some ways because they've been under the gun for so many weeks in a row, or will the fact that they're not rested hurt their games?
First off, most of them are prima donnas. So they are going to be TCH about everything. Secondly, so here's the good news: if you're on a roll, then you're going to roll with those 3 or 4 weeks, and you're going to make bank. If you're like every year on the PGA Tour, if you look at the data, and when I have students who say I want to be more consistent, I'll tell them go to PGAtour.com and look at Justin Thomas's rounds for the whole year last year. It's like this. They're not consistent. They don't shoot 68.7 every day. They might shoot a 61. They might shoot an 86. So anyway, if the player's on a hot streak during that 6-7 week cram session, then they're going to make bank. They're going to do well.
And what about when they first return? I mean, obviously these are greatest players in the world, but most of them are still picking up a club in some respect, but not in the same not under the gun and the heat of the competition. Do you suspect that in general players will struggle when they come back, or do you think they're so wired that they'll just get right back in the swing of things, literally and figuratively, without it?
So sort of like players like at your level, you're way better on the driving range than you are on the golf course. That probably will happen for a few of them with the first tournament jitters, but the gamers will be ready. I'm guaranteed they're playing money games somewhere at their home club in Florida where golf is still allowed, not in Pennsylvania where you can fish but you can't golf. There's my one shot. But yeah, they'll be ready. Like the Brooks Koepkas of the world, the Tigers of the world, the elite, the top 30, for the most part, I would reckon would be ready to go.
Mike Dynda from Lulu Country Club, one of Golf Digest top instructors in America, joining us here on Bracy Sports Media. Mike, there's some local events that could be affected. The LPGA was scheduled to have their LPGA championship at Aronimink in June. The ShopRite LPGA Classic is supposed to be down the shore in July. And then, of course, all the local amateur events, all the Gap events. Do you foresee golf returning to the local area this summer? I mean, I know you're, not a scientist, but just from what you've heard and talking to people in the golf community, when can we possibly expect to have golf back?
Well, right now, I go on the Gap website frequently and the Philadelphia PGA website frequently. It appears that most everybody's in a holding pattern, but my organization, the Philadelphia PGA, keeps emailing me, sign up for this tournament in May, sign up for this tournament in June. So, and this is my year. I was going to make a comeback. I'm finally the age of a perfect score, 54, 18 under. So that was my goal this year, was to get better. And I got a lot better in the back 40. I'm hitting balls every day, Brace, and I'm ready to play. But I hope, and here's my uneducated guess, I don't see us playing until Memorial Day. And I'm the most optimistic person you know. I just think the way it's situated, we're not going to play until after Memorial Day.
Well, Memorial Day, that would be, I think that would be great if we can get out on the golf course by Memorial Day. From some of the things I've heard. So that's good to hear. Mike, I see what you've done with the back 40 on your social media account, which I think is really cool. For people like me who aren't a top level golfer and, just like to play recreationally, I've still just been swinging the club in the yard and working on chipping a little bit in the yard. Besides watching your videos, which are really informative, what kind of advice do you have for golfers who can't play right now and still would like to try and improve, so when they come back, they're still able to play at a decent level?
Yeah, for sure. Good question. Just get outside, do anything. Even if you don't have the property I have, it's swing in your driveway. Just get out and swing. Buy some plastic balls somewhere. If you can't buy plastic balls, take some paper towels if you can find them, and wrap some electrical tape or duct tape around them and turn them into a golf ball. I did that my freshman year in college. We were snowbound, and I just draped a bed sheet over the dorm room door, and I taped up some golf balls I made from paper towels and duct tape, and I just swung. Just get swinging. And even if you don't have a driveway or you're in a condo, you can practice putt and chip in your house. Anything you can do, just a little bit every day. And let's say you can't even do that. How about you stretch? How about you do fake swings? How about you work out? How about this is a good time to work on your mental game too. Buy a book.
Speaking of putting, I watched one of your videos the other day where you were talking about some of the keys that you shared with Chris Crawford. You caddied for Chris Crawford in the U.S. Open, and you talked about in your videos some ways that you helped him kind of make it through the sectional qualifying, talking about putting and how to kind of have a consistent mental approach. Can you discuss those tips that you share with Chris? And also, just, is that really one of the keys, do you think, to putting, is just having that consistent approach where you're not worried about the result? I think that's how you put it. You would probably say it better than I can.
Right. Well, remember this, Coach. I followed you at Drexel, and if you Google it, I think 05, I helped Sammy Givens and Bruiser improve Sammy's free throws from 48% to 73%. If you Googled, you didn't know that?
I didn't, but I'm writing that down because next time I talk to both of those guys, I'm going to bring it up. It's an awesome story. How did you help them?
The title says, help Sammy Givens get better at free throws. So Sammy was shooting 48 I took my golf slow motion camera to one game, and I got directly across the foul line, and I recorded every free throw Sammy shot. One time he had 2 dribbles, one time he had 3, one time he inhaled on the way down, one time he exhaled on the way down. His routine was across the map. So I took the camera footage into Brew, and I said, yo, Brew, I can help Sammy with his free throws. Oh, Mike, man, you don't know what you're talking about, man. His elbows are flat like this. He'd be like that. I said, Brew, you teach the form. Let me work on the process leading up to the form. He's like, talk to Coach Connors. So me and Michael looked at the video. And why I'm relating this is because we both worked at Drexel, but right. It was all about that's the one shot in basketball that's like every shot in golf. Like in basketball, the ball's always moving. So you don't have time to think. You have to look and react. But the free throw, much like golf, the ball's in your control. So to your point about Chris and Sammy, you need a process that you can rely on when the heat's on. So for example, a 36-hole qualifier, and I came up with this idea. I've had help over the years too with Bob Rotella, Rick Jensen, and several other sports psychologists like that. But I used to caddy for Lisa Strom at tour school. And one year it was 90 holes down at the LPGA. I know we're not dancing here. Do you want to comment? I know I'm hogging the mic.
No, this is great. This is great.
And I'm a stats freak when I'm caddying. So over 90 holes, Lisa made maybe 12, 13 putts over 10 feet, which is it's good putting. But that means you have 70 putts inside of 10 feet. And the higher percentage you can make, the better. So her and I developed a routine where once she stepped into the ball, she pulled the trigger within 16.3 seconds, 99% of the time.
Wow.
So Chris and I did the same thing based on that experience. And we did it there at Lulu. I said, Chris, you got 36 holes. If you putt well, you might box 6 putts over 10 feet. That means you got to make 30 putts inside of 10 feet. And if you can make most of them, you're going to go to the Open because you hit it pretty good. So basically the routine is all about timing and looking and reacting, trying to make the game more reactionary. You're not going to be on the 36th hole thinking, and obviously Chris boxed a 42-footer on 36. He wasn't thinking, well, who knows what he was thinking, but he wasn't thinking make. He went through the process. And fortunately, the ball went in. But just to wrap that up, the more you can turn putting and full swing for that matter into looking and reacting, the better the athlete's going to be.
Mike Dynda, Golf Digest Top 100 teacher, works at Lulu Country Club, joining Bracy Sports Media today. Mike, a couple more things I want to talk to you about. You mentioned Chris Crawford in the U.S. Open, and that was just ranked by voters on the Gap website as the top moment of the decade, just beating out the final between my former college teammate Michael McDermott and Jeff Osberg. But what was that experience like caddying for Chris at Oakmont? And had you ever been at a U.S. Open prior? And I'm guessing not inside the ropes, but what was that experience like for you personally?
First off, it's the moment of the century thus far.
Good point.
Name you can't, if somebody can do the research and find it, just go ahead and one up me, but name me one amateur that's qualified for back-to-back U.S. Opens through local and sectional ever. And let's throw a kicker in before he graduated college. So how was the experience inside the ropes? I think I was more nervous than him on the first tee, which was number 10. I had goosebumps when they announced his name. I'll admit to shedding a tear when the roars were so loud for Chris. There was a huge Philly contingent there, and I was like a proud father. So that was I recruited the kid. Nobody else recruited this kid who ends up being one of the best college players in the country. And I just felt a sense of pride that I actually found him, and he stayed at home and played for us at Drexel, and I was able to be inside the ropes and Brace. It was good, man. It was good. I'm getting goosebumps right now if you can see him.
Mike, one of the last things I want to talk to you about is these are tough times for everyone, and particularly in your industry, for people like yourself who rely on golf to make a living. How tough has it been for people like yourself right now, and what do you think golfers can do when things do return to, or even when they don't return, to help people like yourself in the industry just kind of make sure they can still do what they love to do?
Right. Well, consider it. Hopefully the golfer who's coming back when this ends has a job or has money left.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I mean, secondly, yeah, I'm fortunate. I have a couple other revenue streams. They're not as big as my teaching revenue stream, but I did file for unemployment, so that'll be all right. But when you come back, players, when you come back, don't forget the kids and the employees in the locker room, the bag room, the kids who are hustle. Actually, who knows if they can even go hustle bags anymore?
It's crazy. Wow.
Don't forget your bag room attendant. Don't forget your caddy master. Don't forget your starter. Don't forget your teaching pro. I won't touch you if I teach you. I'll stay 10 feet away. I'll wear my mask. I got a mask right here. I'll bring handy wipes. I'll do whatever it takes to make your game better. But to answer that seriously, just everybody's been out a long time. Don't forget, not hopefully, but it's going to be different. You're not going to be able to just all show up at once. It's probably going to be spaced out 12 to 15-minute tee times. There probably won't be a pro shop open at first. The kitchen probably won't be open at first. Everything's probably going to be, stand back 10 feet. I don't know who made up the 6-foot rule, but it should be 30 feet.
Right.
Which brings me to one last point. If you can fish, if you can shop and go to Wawa where people creep up on me like no business, why can't we play golf? I mean, you hit it left, I hit it right. We're 800 feet apart. We don't got to shake hands, kiss or hug.
And I think I hit it left. I hit it left over and over and over. So I'll probably, my strong grip, I probably won't see you for, until the 19th hole.
I got a new TaylorMade driver, and I set it up wide open. I'm hitting cuts now. I love it. One last point on that. Where was I going with that?
Anyway, golf in the state, playing golf in PA.
I just hope everybody is patient when they come back. Let's really enjoy the golf. Golf courses should be in mint condition. And we still have a skeleton crew on board at Lulu, still maintaining everything. I drove past Easter morning yesterday, which you can see on my Facebook page, Mike Dynda. The place looks mint. So, don't forget, guys, when you come back, and ladies, fix your ball marks, fix your divots, take care of everything, tip your caddy master, tip your teaching pro. This is tough, man. This is where most of us make I mean, think about this. All these employees are coming off the winter, and most of them, myself personally, I had a great March. March was great weather. I had one of my best Marches ever. And now we get hit with this, which, I mean, obviously, first and foremost, the safety of the country is first, and returning to normal is second. Here's my point I had. At what point are these political people going to discuss mental health?
Oh, and getting out on the golf course, you mean?
My dad's 81 years old. He's in Cameron County, Pennsylvania, population 3. He's not allowed to play golf. Why is that?
Well,
let's
hope, Mike, that, for all of our sake, all of us that love sports and love golf, that we can get out on the golf course soon. If you don't follow Mike on social media, and hopefully you can tell from this interview, he's full of personality and he's just a tremendous instructor. He has great videos, and Mike's just a lot of fun. So I definitely encourage you to follow him on Dynda Golf on Twitter. Visit dyndagolf.com, DYNDA, and you're definitely gonna benefit from that. Mike, I really appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us here on Bracy Sports Media, and I certainly look forward to seeing you out on a golf course and not on a computer screen real soon.
Thanks, Bryce. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you very much, Aaron.